Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zakir Jacob. Leading Hindi film lyricist Javed Akhtar compared the BJP and the RSS and their supporters to having quote-unquote a Talibani mindset. Now, Mr. Akhtar maybe doesn't realize that one is a political party which has been elected to power by the people of India. Neither the BJP nor the RSS advocate seizing power through violence like the Taliban has done, or blowing up people in the name of religion. Nor do they talk about curtailing women's rights and that women have no rights in public life. So where exactly does this comparison come from? And for Mr. Akhtar specifically, who's prided himself in being part of the tolerance gang, who is now being intolerant?
जावेद अख्तर जी का ये बयान करोड़ों करोड़ों लोगों का अपमान करने वाला, उन्हें पीड़ित और प्रताड़ित करने वाला ये बयान है। जब तक वे हाथ जोड़ करके देश के लिए समर्पित जीवन जीने वाले संघ कार्यकर्ताओं की माफी मांगते नहीं हैं, तब तक उनकी कोई भी फिल्म इस मां भारती की भूमि पर हम चलने नहीं देंगे।
हमारे देश में और देश के किसी भी संस्था या संगठन का तालिबानियों से तुलना करना मुझे लगता है ठीक नहीं है।
कि जिस तरह की इन्होंने धमकी दी है कदम साहब ने कि हम उनकी फिल्म की शूटिंग नहीं होने देंगे, यही इस बात को सिद्ध करता है और एक तरह से उस पर मोहर लगाता है जो अख्तर साहब ने कहा।
So why come up with this false equivalence, this flawed comparison of Hindutva and the Talibani mindset? This is not the first time, though, that Mr. Akhtar has come up with such false equivalence. Back in January of 2016, he compared Hindu groups, vigilantes, particularly cow vigilantes, to Muslim fundamentalists. In May 2019, he advocated, and somehow, here is again a classic case of a false equivalence, advocated a ban on both burqa and on ghungat. In March 2020, he sympathized with the Delhi riots accused Tahir Hussain, who's in fact facing a charge sheet in that riots case. In May 2020, he called the Azan, which is the Muslim call to prayer, happening on loudspeakers, as haram. In July 2020, he had claimed, and this matter is still in court, he had claimed that Kangana Ranaut tried to mislead a court of law in her bid to renew her passport. This matter is still being heard. But I want to go to a piece of breaking news that's just coming in related to this story. The Pune-based Global Strategic Policy Foundation is holding a program right now where RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat is the chief guest. It's an outreach of sorts from the RSS to the Muslim community. He will be addressing the congregation there on the theme of Nation First, or Rashtra Sarva Pratham. Present on the dais will be people like Arif Muhammad Khan, who is the governor of the state of Kerala, Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, who's the Chancellor of the Central University of Kashmir, in what is being seen in many ways as an outreach program by the RSS to Muslim intellectuals and to the Muslim community. Vinaya Deshpande, a Mumbai bureau chief, with more details on this. Why the need for such a meeting or such an event, and how does this square off with what Mr. Akhtar said some time back, that the RSS and the BJP have a Talibani mindset?
Well, Zaka, it's an extremely interesting timing at which this program takes place, and that is why there is immense interest and curiosity about what Mohan Bhagwat will say during his chief address as the chief guest. But the RSS has clarified that this is a program which has been organized by a private organization, and that Mohan Bhagwat will be felicitated. There has been called as the chief guest. Though the topic is quite clear, he is going to speak on Nation First, or Rashtra Sarva Pratham, which means he is going to speak about RSS ideology as well as priorities. The RSS has also not denied that several members of this NGO will be present in this program, including several prominent Muslim leaders. So as of now, the RSS says it will issue a press release and a statement by Mohan Bhagwat within a few minutes after the program, and everyone's interested about what he has to say in it.
All right, Vinaya Deshpande, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Let me now open this up to our guests because This sort of puts paid to what Mr. Javed Akhtar has been trying to do, this false equivalence between the RSS BJP and the Taliban. There is simply no comparison between an elected political party and a violent philosophy that believes in snatching power through the power of the gun. Maulana Masoodul Hassan Kasmi is a Muslim scholar, Saira Shah Halim, author joining us, Shantanu Gupta, author and political analyst, and Gopal Krishna Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP. Kasmi साहब मैं आपसे शुरू करता हूं. This is a flawed comparison. बीजेपी और आरएसएस, बीजेपी तो एक इलेक्टेड पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है, देश की जनता ने उनको चुना है. अगर आपको वो पार्टी पसंद नहीं है, जाइए इलेक्शन पे जाइए और हटाइए उस पार्टी को. उसको और तालिबान को तुलना करने में, I mean, there is absolutely no comparison. It's not like BJP-RSS is going around shooting people or pointing a gun at people's head and saying you support our political philosophy. It's not like BJP-RSS is saying women have no rights, they can't occupy public places, they don't have a right to education. So, किस basis पे हो रहा है ये तुलना? This is a completely flawed comparison.
Zaka, firstly, let me clarify it. Taliban are an instrument of Pakistan and China. Taliban is anti-India force, but RSS Sangh Parivar is nationalist. No doubt in that. And it is grossly incorrect from Mr. Javed Akhtar to compare RSS with Taliban. But no doubt, I would not compare RSS with Taliban. But I also would like to say, despite the fact that Mohan Bhagwat ji a number of times said that people who indulging in lynching are against Hinduism. A person is not Hindu when he says the Muslims should leave India.
So exactly. So then, all the more reason, Kasmi Saab, all the more reason that this comparison is flawed. Right now there is a meeting of the Sarsang Chalak with Muslim intellectuals. If they were of a Talibani mindset, why outreach at all? Outreach करने की क्या जरूरत है? Zaka ji, in fact, almost all big Muslim organization chiefs have been meeting, from K. Sudarshan ji to RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat ji, K. Sudarshan ji and others have been meeting time to time. But the point is, there are also some elements in Sangh Parivar who are hardline. They are not based on secular constitution. They are based on Hindutva ideology, and that is why some people are indulging let me bring in Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Hindutva philosophy, Hindutva ideology does not, point a gun at somebody and say you have to support our political ideology. It does not go into people's houses, separate the women and separate the men and shoot them down. Hindutva ideology believes in the power of the vote. Yes, if you don't like that ideology, if you don't like the political party that espouses that ideology, please vote them out. You are the people of India. We are the people of India. There's nothing more supreme in this country than the people of India. But to equate Hindutva ideology, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, with a Talibani mindset, that is just a sick way of thinking. I can't think of any other phrase.
Yes, surely what Javed Akhtar has been saying is completely shows that he is overpowered by the Sikh mentality that is some people of the country are following. One thing is, it shows that he wants to support the Taliban ideology, but he's not finding right statement just to go and support it. His mentality is such. I think it is the reverse. Javed Akhtar, people like Javed Akhtar themselves are suffering from the Talibanic mentality. There are certain elements in the country which are in the subversive way trying to support Taliban mentality. And therefore, when they do not find it, the narration in support of them, then they are doing it like this.
Okay.
The thing, it is clearly a completely bizarre to say that RSS, which believes in democracy, BJP, which has upheld the democratic values, which gives space to all ideologies and all people in the country, and
Yes.
we are following a democracy. We are fighting elections. We fight the election with full vigor. We fight the elections and go to the people to discussion. What is democracy? You give space for others' thought to discussion. And what I find in Javed Akhtar is he is completely closed of RSS ideology. So his mind is closed, not ours.
Okay, so no, Saira Shah Halim, here, at a time such as this, when people are seeing what's happening in our neighborhood, people are seeing what the Taliban is doing. Last week, we had Nasiruddin Shah come out and say that this is a dangerous trend. Indian Muslims should realize that Indian Islam is unique and they should do whatever it takes to preserve Indian Islam. And now you have somebody like a Javed Akhtar, very respected, well-known figure, come out and say that Hindutva is like having a Talibani mindset. Now the question needs to be asked, who is actually doing a disservice to the cause of Indian Islam? Who is doing a disservice to Indian Muslims? Is it Nasiruddin Shah or is it Javed Akhtar?
Thank you so much, Zaka. See, firstly, Mr. Javed Akhtar is not doing any disservice to anyone in the country, nor is Mr. Nasiruddin Shah doing any disservice. Now, there is a school of thought. Both are liberal artists, and they are very well within the right to espouse a certain opinion. Now, nobody is spreading venom or spreading vitriol here. Now, if you look at Mr. Javed Akhtar's statement, what he said is he used the Talibani mindset as a metaphor. So the Talibani mindset means a certain ideology which is extreme. Now, he's not very wrong, because if you look down into history, the riots, when it happened in 1946-47, they brought two wings of the radicals from both the sides of the fence. On one side, we had, of course, the Muslim National Guards, and on the Hindu side, we had the Hindu Mahasabha and the RSS, which was founded in 1925. Now, if you see the RSS, which was then led by
So I'm sorry I'm intervening. No, I'm sorry I'm intervening. In the last 7 years, since the BJP has come to power, are you telling me BJP has been going around taking guns into people's houses and saying, vote for us?
Okay.
You are seeing the scenes that you're seeing in Kabul and other places in Afghanistan. You're seeing images today of how women are, being segregated in a classroom with a curtain between the women and the men. Is BJP and RSS arguing for the same here in India?
No, they're not.
On what basis is this comparison being made?
Okay, so I just want to intervene here. No, RSS is not doing that. Yes, they are doing some good work as far as the social parameters is concerned. However, there's been a huge concern in the last few years, the way the violence that is happening against the minorities, and certain leaders who subscribe their leanings towards the RSS and the other right-wing radicals in India. They go across lynching people, they're instigating people to chant
every instance you are referring to has been condemned, from the Prime Minister downwards to the Home Minister to even the RSS chief. They've all condemned every sort of lynching that you're talking about that's been happening either in the name of cow or either in the name of, chanting slogans. It has been condemned from the top down, and legal action, police action has been taken in every one of those cases, Shantanu Gupta.
You already told it's such a false equivalence. Someone like RSS, which is the largest social organization of the world, it has given us various political leaders, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, 3 times Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, 2 times Prime Minister, multiple Chief Ministers. A lot of people have shown faith in this ideology. So when Javed Akhtar is talking about the Talibani mindset, he's also talking ill of crores and crores of people who have put their faith in Narendra Modi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and the whole philosophy.
Exactly.
So he's just, and at this time when we're seeing Taliban, he doesn't even understand what Talibani mindset is. And I'll also show you an equivalent event that's happening in US on 9/11. On the day of 9/11, when these Talibani, Al-Qaeda kind of people bombed 9/11, a Professor Andre Trashki is running a conference dismantling Hindutva.
So I think Javed Akhtar is part of this global gang which just want to malign and they want to deflect their people's opinion about Taliban. And we have seen how All India Muslim Law Board, Samajwadi Party, Member of Parliament, a lot of people finding ways to justify Taliban somehow, and Javed Akhtar is just one of them.
No, but Shantanu, why is there a constant need? And I'm not saying, I'm not taking any names here. Javed Akhtar is just the latest example. Why is there a constant need to demonize the BJP and the RSS and the philosophy that they stand for by this quote-unquote global gang, as you refer to them?
See, electorally, we all know Indian civilization is the only ancient living civilization. Now, because economically we are growing, technologically we are growing, politically this ideology is growing in India, and electorally they are not able to defeat them. So they will do something like a Shaheen Bagh, something like a fake farmer protest, or maybe people like Javed Akhtar and people like Andre Trashki, who will just try to malign this, at least in narrative they want to remain. I think that's all, because electorally they're not able to defeat them.
Kazmi साहब, ये तो जायज़ है. Electorally जो भी ये बीजेपी और आरएसएस के आइडियोलॉजी के खिलाफ जो लड़ रहे हैं politically, वो तो कुछ भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं पिछले 6-7 साल से. Now, if you can't beat them electorally, then you keep doing things like this. That is the reason. ना ये relevance के लिए कर रहे हैं ये लोग ये.
देखिए, मैं आई डोंट वांट टू इंडल्ज इन द पॉलिटिक्स, बट मैं सिर्फ इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि मोहन भागवत जी ने कई बार लिंचिंग को कंडेम किया और लिंचिंग करने वालों को ये कहा ये हिंदू नहीं हो सकते, बट इट्स इम्पैक्ट ऑन द ग्राउंड इज नॉट हैपनिंग, इट्स नॉट विजिबल.
सर,
हमारा
उस लॉजिक से मर्डर के खिलाफ तो हमारे यहाँ आईपीसी में कानून है. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो कानून की वजह से मर्डर नहीं हो रहा ना देश में.
हाँ, ये सच्चाई है, मगर जो केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं, दैट इज आल्सो अ मैटर ऑफ कंसर्न फॉर ऑल इंडिया.
नहीं, कहाँ बढ़ रहे हैं केसेस? आप ये बताइए ना, कहाँ बढ़ रहे हैं ये सो कॉल्ड केसेस? एक आध दो केस हुए होंगे, उसमें भी मैंने जैसे कहा, everyone from Prime Minister downwards has condemned that. The full law of the land, full force of the law has acted in those cases. चाहे वो अखलाक से ले लीजिए आप 2014-15 से. Every single case, आप नेम कर लो केस, मैं आपको बता दूंगा कि क्या हुआ है उसमें, स्टेटस क्या प्रोग्रेस हुआ है उसमें लीगली.
ज़का साहब दोनों पक्षों में ब्लैक शीप्स हैं. कुछ एलिमेंट्स मुस्लिम्स में भी हैं, कुछ नॉन मुस्लिम्स हिंदू में भी हैं. लेकिन हमारा कहना इतना है कि जिन लोगों ने, जो मुस्लिम साइड्स के लोग हैं, वो अगर गलत करते हैं तो उनको एनएसए लगता है और नासा लगता है, रासुका लगता है, और हम उसको भी गलत नहीं कहते. लेकिन दूसरी साइड के लोग जो लिंचिंग करते हैं और अगले ही दिन और वो जंतर मंतर पर काटने की बात करते हैं और अगले ही दिन छूट जाते हैं,
क्यों उनको अरेस्ट नहीं किया गया? क्या उनको अरेस्ट नहीं किया गया था? उनको भी अरेस्ट किया गया था.
धाराएं बदल दी जाए.
नहीं, धाराएं तो
बदली जाती हैं.
जुल्म क्या है उसके हिसाब से होगा ना.
नेशन
जो जुल्म है उसके हिसाब से होगा धाराएं. गोपाल अग्रवाल to respond, and then I'll give the final word to Saira Shah Ali.
I would just like to say is that the thing is whether RSS BJP believes in democracy, whether they are fighting elections through a democratic process. Their ideology, our ideology is acceptable to the country with more than 40% of vote share. Then, and India is a well-functioning democracy. Every dissenting voice or differential or different opinion have got a place. We respect them. We do not subvert them like the way Taliban is doing. So there is no analogy of Talibani mindset which Javed Akhtar and his class of people are saying. It is not only Javed Akhtar. There is a certain, Shantanu Gupta ji just now mentioned, there is a Muslim Personal Law Board. There is the Samajwadi Party MP. These are actually people who are hurting the
Muslim Personal Law Board or Samajwadi Party doesn't represent Muslims, sir.
Sir, so the simple point being, the simple point being, once again, I'll give the final word to Saira Shah Ali. The simple point being, you know, the people of this
They don't
country,
represent Muslims.
of their free will, a majority of the people of this country, of their free will, chose a particular political party, chose a particular political ideology. Nobody forced them to, Saira Shah Halim. And in fact, you know, Gopal Agarwal says, you know, people have elected the BJP to power. You know, I would go one step further and say, it's not like if the BJP is not elected to power, it's not like if the BJP is in opposition, suddenly they start picking up the gun and saying, you know, you have to believe in our ideology or you have to vote for our ideology. In fact, the BJP was not in power between 2004 and 14. They were very much within the democratic confines of this country. They were very much operating within the constitution of this country.
And Zaka, one more point.
Saira Shah Halim,
Zaka,
last
one
word, sir.
more
I'm
point.
completely out of time.
See, the very
Quick final
fact, the very fact that the far right is giving open threats to Mr. Javed Akhtar and saying that if the movie is released, we'll ban it, proves the point what Mr. Javed Akhtar was saying. And there is no doubt that RSS is perceived as a far right organization,
Ma'am,
which
but
wants to
don't you
impose
believe
its,
the state government of
far-right
Maharashtra?
ideas?
Don't you believe in the capability of the state government of Maharashtra to provide
No.
security for this film?
Absolutely, we do. But what
So
I'm
then-
saying is, it
And
takes
we are
very
not
little time
those
for
people, if they
outliers
take
to become the
law into their
mainstream.
hands,
All
they
right.
will be
For that,
I'm completely
And
out
we
of
have to
time. I
check
got to
the
wrap
checks
up.
and
All
balances
I'll
into
say is this false equivalence, and this is the reason why I went back to, you know, this comparison between what Mr. Nasiruddin Shah said last week and what Mr. Javed Akhtar is saying this week. Whether he did it by design or no, I don't know. But if you look at this stark comparison, it's very clear who is doing service to the cause of Indian Islam and who is doing service to Indian Muslims and who is not. I think somewhere down the line, Mr. Akhtar, by making this absolutely false and baseless comparison, is actually doing a great disservice to the community that he claims to speak on behalf of. That's a wrap. I'll catch you again at 9 o'clock with Brass Tacks.